WWL-TV, Channel 4, New Orleans. Bill Elder, Jim Henderson, and meteorologist Dave Barnes. Louisiana's news leader, Channel 4's Eyewitness News.
Good evening. This is the 5 o'clock news for Wednesday, April the 12th. Bill is off today. A ceremony planned to revive hope for Mark Kilroy's safe return became a memorial service today, one day after his body was discovered in a Mexican grave dug by an alleged satanic cult. Outside the Kilroy Family Church in Santa Fe, Texas, about 150 children from the church school today pinned yellow ribbons around trees in remembrance of the college student murdered on a spring break trip to the Mexican border. Officials investigating the killings in Mexico say as many as 3 of the victims may have been Americans. Mexican police say the suspects have admitted to sacrificing 14 victims so that they could obtain demonic protection from police in their drug-running scheme. We have this report.
The odor of death lingers in the air at the remote ranch site west of Matamoros, where Mexican and American authorities are searching for bodies. This is the same place where investigators discovered the bodies of 12 men who were killed by a satanic cult of drug smugglers. Mexican federal police have 5 cult members in custody. One is a U.S. citizen. One suspect, Sergio Martinez, says he and the others chose their victims randomly off the streets of Matamoros. Martinez would also help torture the victims before they were killed. Another suspect, David Serna Valdez, said the torture and killings were a ritual where the cult members would pray for protection from the law and the power to smuggle more drugs. The suspects in custody say their job was to bring the victims to the ranch, but they claim the Godfather was the killer, the man who shot and butchered the victims to death.
Well, I didn't do nothing, but the other ones, they killed them.
Serafín Hernandez Garcia is the suspect from Brownsville. He claims Adolfo de Jesus Constances, known as the cult's godfather, killed 21-year-old Mark Kilroy, the pre-med student from the University of Texas who disappeared March 14th during a trip to Matamoros. Mexican federal police say the Godfather is a Cuban national who was praised by his followers. Constance was adored so much that when he ordered a human sacrifice, cult members were honored to do the gruesome job.
Authorities have unearthed 12 bodies so far. They're looking for 2 more. 4 suspects in the gruesome killings are in custody tonight. A special drug task force has broken up what officials call a major heroin distribution network in New Orleans. Officials seized hundreds of packets of the powerful narcotic, along with $13,000 in cash in a raid today. They arrested 22 people investigators say were operating out of a distribution area on French Street and in the neighborhood around South Lopez at Tulane. The arrest highlight an 8-month undercover operation involving the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration and police throughout the metro area.
We have a task force of people who know what they're doing. They're very specific in their direction. They're knowledgeable to the point that you just can't run and hide from us. We're everywhere. And this task force has been in effect and will continue to be in effect for quite some time.
Officials say they expect to make more arrests. Anyone convicted of distributing heroin could face life in prison. Mayor Sidney Barthelemy says he wants to show he's serious about tackling the drug problem. Barthelemy says he and members of the City Council will voluntarily undergo drug tests tomorrow. John Snell joins us now with details from the newsroom. John?
Garland, Sidney Barthelemy and council members want to make a symbolic gesture in the war on drugs. The mayor says he and council members will be at Tulane Medical Center bright and early in the morning for a drug test. But the mayor says he is willing to go even further.
We're going to take the test tomorrow, but we'll be available for random testing just to show the public how strongly we believe, how committed we are to eliminating this community from drugs, and we're willing to start at the top.
Starting at the top means the mayor and council, but the administration is also working out a system of random testing for department heads.
The mayor and the council felt that there was a need to show to the general citizens, as well as people in city government and state government, that they were clean.
For now, the testing is limited to elected or top appointed officials. Going further would invite a court challenge. Critics of drug testing charge it violates the Constitution, trampling on the rights of individuals.
I believe that fairly shortly there will be some legal road down for mandatory testing for particular employees.
For example, the administration is considering random testing for police officers. But a number of issues remain unsettled. How often the test would be administered, how they would be paid for. In the case of the police department alone, the cost could run up to $65,000 for a single round of tests. Also, what type of disciplinary action would be taken? Even in this first modest round of testing, it's unclear what will happen should someone show up positive.
Well, we have to deal with that at that particular time, sir. I cannot speak for the city council. I can speak in reference to what the mayor said. The mayor stated that so be it. He will deal with that accordingly, and he has not expressed to me exactly what accordingly meant.
City officials say they are still trying to work out some scheduling conflicts. The mayor plans to take the test with 5 or so of the 7 council members and the city drug czar, Griffin Rivers. The mayor's office says that all of the council members have agreed to take the test eventually. Garland?
Thank you, John. Peter Uberoff's bid to buy Eastern Airlines is not going to fly. The $464 million deal to buy the strike-torn airline was called off today, not despite last-minute salvage attempts by a federal bankruptcy judge. The National Transportation Safety Board today released the harrowing cockpit transcripts of United Flight 811. 9 passengers were swept to their deaths through a 10-foot gaping hole in February, 16 minutes after the flight took off from Hawaii. Pilots thought a bomb had gone off.
Mayday, we've got to come back. We had a bomb or something go off in the airport. We're taking a 180 and trying to get back to the airport. 811, have they followed the center?
Over the next 25 minutes, Flight 811 was tracked closely by traffic controllers as the jumbo jet returned to Hawaii for an emergency landing. The pilot feared all along that the plane would have to ditch in the ocean. A faulty cargo door may have blasted the fuselage open, causing the tragedy. Still ahead on Eyewitness News at 5 o'clock, the First Lady drinks an atomic cocktail in the hospital, and why today's younger generation may face increased hearing losses. Former Louisiana Congressman Henson Moore is now officially a member of the Bush administration. Moore won unanimous confirmation from the Senate today as Deputy Secretary of Energy. Despite Moore's Republican Party affiliation, he drew strong support from Democratic Louisiana Senators Johnston and John Breaux.
Mr. President very strongly supported him both for Secretary of Energy and as Deputy Secretary of Energy because of the wide knowledge he has, because